It's a new season.
Yes, you're right, and we're back.
A new season.
To talk Galavant.
A new chance to go through the plot.
On a show where it hits just the right spot.
A new season to go.
Galavant-Ing.
Yes. All right, Dragon. How you doing?
Okay.
So, first episode, really good. This one, it's okay. I think that's kind of the overall general consensus. It's an okay episode. It's fine. It doesn't sink the series by any means, but certainly not up there with the best of the episodes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to just go straight into our musical recap? Do you want to kind of talk about our overall thoughts?
Let's announce what the name of the episode is. That might be prudent.
You're right. How thoughtless of me. The name of the episode is A Perfect Kiss.
There we go.
Oh yes.
And just yet a not so perfect episode. Just the ironies in there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to defend a couple of the things that we have problems with. Like, upon rewatching it, yeah, I think the plot issue that we'll get to is an issue. Having said that, I feel like rewatching it, there was some absurdist kind of Monty Python comedy involved in that same scene, which kind of redeems it a little bit for me, just a little bit.
Speaking of Python-esque comedy, let's get to the musical recap.
All right, musical recap. Let's do it.
It wasn't the best after one.
But had fun moments.
Wasn't the best of plots.
Misunderstandings, what rot.
Fortune teller comedy.
Gareth in his prime.
But the amulet not worth a dime.
A tough act to follow.
Gareth's mom set to wallow in the mud.
Now that was funny.
Not the best of episodes.
Just a stepping stone.
For Richard's kingdom.
Or Sid's solo.
Not the worst episode.
We had some laughs.
You bet.
Still filled with hopes.
Oh yes.
It was an okay episode. You like that, BlueDragonFive? I really got into the method acting of like someone who's like, all right, that was okay, but hopefully something better is coming after this. Could really see it in my eyes.
I give you a 6.
6 out of 10?
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Well, it's not failing, so I'll take it. Okay, so I guess you want to dive right into this episode then?
Sure.
Okay, you have a little bit of an echo of me on your side, so you might want to take care of that somehow. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe turn down your speakers just a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, what about now?
Should be good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we start off?
Well, we go through the episode. We start off with a very
Yeah, I know that. I know, but what's the first scene?
Well, we start off with a very Shrek-esque opening of Richard and Galavant walking through the woods, and this is a hilarious opener. Seriously, it is very Shrek-esque with the music, don't you think? It reminds me so much of Shrek 2, when Donkey and Shrek is lost in the woods.
Right.
Anyway, so it has like kind of the theme there. This is like the Lost theme, you know, the dun 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 dun. Not that Lost theme, the other Lost theme.
Yeah. Hey, you said it, not me. I wasn't gonna say anything.
I know you were thinking it though.
I was thinking it, but you can read my mind. But I'm not gonna interrupt the podcast every time something like that gets mentioned.
Anyway,
ask me about a box, however.
Don't. Anyway, so, Richard is griping as he usually does, and it's pretty hilarious. Him just like asking these random words, like, "Oh,
my feet are getting cancer. Do you get cancer from walking?"
No, I love it. Just he starts off by saying, he's so sick of walking, and they just can't. Oh, can I get just legitimately asking? Can you get cancer from walking? Yeah, we say this. They has the great thing and the wonderful Timothy Munson just delivering.
I'm
So
bored.
so bored. And then one of my favorite images of the episode. I just love seeing his broken boot. It looks so sad. Just the floppy boot at the end. And Galavant's like has, okay, you win. We'll camp.
Yeah, that breaks him. The broken boot breaks Galavant.
So he's saying, okay, fine, you win. We'll camp here, fix your boot tomorrow, drop you off at your kingdom, and then I'll go save Isabella.
Yep.
And Richard's,
and then,
all you care about.
Richard's complaining.
All you care about is her. It's like, oh, save Isabella, save Isabella. I miss Gareth.
I miss Gareth.
Oh, this is some good setup for later on.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, Galavant's saying, don't worry. I promise you, Isabella, I'm looking for him, doing the best I can. He's just pining for Isabella. He's like, I'm stuck with this idiot, but I'm working on it.
Okay, so we get Isabella with the chef back in the disturbing situation she's in.
Yes, marrying into family, young family. Very, very unclean.
I thought that this was a pretty funny meta gag with the amulet right here. So Isabella wants to give this amulet to the chef, and she's like, "Oh, it's a very precious amulet that was passed down to me when I was a newborn, and I've worn it every day."
And the chef points out, it's like this wonderful kind of fourth wall conveniency running gag. It's so hilarious. It's that he mentions, "Well, I've never seen you wear it." No, maybe it was one of the times. I take it off now and again. Maybe that's one.
Well, no, I mean, we spent a lot of time in that dungeon together, and then we went through security when we got out of Valencia, and we had to put all the stuff in our baskets.
The security gag is my favorite. It's my favorite of this scene, by the way. I love the mundane touches. Oh, you have to go to the security before into the kingdom.
So I just love this because you're absolutely right. It's a total plot convenience to write something in that was never seen in the last season.
Because they realize they need something for Galavant to get in touch with her with, and they need an amulet for that. And they figure, well, how are we going to get that? How are we going to establish something Galavant would know she has?
It so works within the tone of the rest of the comedy.
And as long as everyone calls her on, it's fine.
Right.
Which it does, and it works. Okay, let's see. So anyway, so she basically tries like everyone does in the episode is trying to distract from that factor and say, okay, never mind that. Look, I just want you to give this to my parents so they can remember me by it.
Yeah.
So anyway, then the chef asks, what's the plan? The plan is to leave tomorrow during the ridiculously elaborate changing of the guard.
Okay, so there's quite a few things in this episode that remind me of Monty Python, and the changing of the guard is definitely one of them.
Yeah, it is very Python-esque.
Okay.
So let's see. So, Isabella, she's all uplifted here and just like she's looking forward to more than a memory of that last kiss she had with Galavant. Looking forward to the real deal.
Oh boy.
And then she gets into a musical number that we lampooned it to some degree. The World's Best Kiss.
Is it World's Best Kiss?
I don't know.
Perfect Kiss?
I think it's World's Best Kiss because that's what the episode's called.
Oh shoot! Well, that means I have to change the title of this podcast.
You just at the beginning of this, you said, okay. Sorry.
Did I not say World's Best Kiss? I thought I said.
You said best, which was correct, and now you're thinking it's worse. So apparently, put worse in the title.
Now I'm thinking the perfect kiss. I thought this episode was called the perfect kiss.
Oh, I don't know.
It's something I'll change later. I'm
look,
sorry.
I might be. I don't know. I think it's. I thought you just said you put worse in there, but if it's not worse, it's best.
No. It's not worse. It's definitely not worse. I know that much.
I think it's best, but we'll move on from that.
Right.
But we kind of did a whole song. I did some research on that, so I think it's best. I heard it like 50 times. I think it's best.
Oh god.
I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm saying best sounds lyrically more. It was the world's perfect kiss. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, you're right.
Okay, let's see. So basically, she's going to this really nice song. This is actually a really kind of neat song here, where you get a cut between her and Galavant here, and basically they're kind of praising the kiss they had at the end of last season. They only got the kiss that one time after Galavant was having some issues, like kind of getting to that place. So, if I kissed one of those forever kisses, isn't that right, Sid? Yeah, it's still burned into my brain, sir. That thing. Yeah, so there's a lot of pressure on that kiss, and then of course he was instantly knocked out afterwards and taken away for this season. So So obviously there's some things that haven't been said between these two in terms of that little bit of relationship there.
Yeah, it is World's Best Kiss, not The Perfect Kiss, so that's my bad. I need to change the episode title for this podcast.
Right.
But the first time I've been wrong.
Right. Okay. Anyway, so point is like that in the song, it's like this really neat thing tonight we have both parts kind of first off kind of praising the kiss, saying it was the world's best kiss and all the stuff happening, and then they realize all the stuff they're highlighting about really is kind of negative actually.
Yeah, it's complaining about, well, it was a little bit messy, wet, way too much teeth.
Yeah. So then they're realizing, oh man, it was the world's worst kiss, which I love that. That thing cracks me up. It's like, okay, then they're realizing halfway through the song, yeah, no, actually, it was the worst kiss. That went from this positive thing to this lamenting number. I thought that was really clever. I mean, good points for Mencken and the Tangled musical team.
Yeah, that was funny.
On that one, so points on them on that one. It's clever.
Anyways, I didn't think this song was like a highlight of the series or anything.
No.
I'm just saying. The job done.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. I thought it was a clever song. Anyway, so we see some great visuals in this sequence, though. I mean, aside from the intercutting, there's really great people. They're dancing by the stars. They're dancing. Projected against the stars, I guess. They realize like, oh, it was an awful kiss. And then, of course, the ending is just really nice. So they're both kind of saying that it's a kiss they won't forget, because now they're both kind of feeling very neurotic about it, very self-conscious about how bad that kiss was and questioning their relationship.
Right.
They're questioning like, oh, man, it's our only memory we have, big romantic memory we have of each other, and it's tainted. We got to meet each other again to correct this. Okay,
right.
So...
and then we get a gag that you're probably not crazy about.
Yeah, I love the chef, but I hate this gag when they've used it in the first season. I hate it. They use it in this episode.
So apparently Isabella falls asleep after singing that elaborate song.
So this I love. I love the idea that she fell asleep and the chef was locked in there with her.
Right.
Well, not locked in. He was just waiting for her. He's very patient. He could have walked out of there any time.
What bothers me about this gag isn't so much the fact that the bleep, it's the fact that the chef could have just, taken that amulet at any time.
Well, I mean, I guess it was in her hand the whole time. He just didn't feel right robbing her. Not robbing her.
He's not robbing her, though, because she wanted him to have it.
Well, I guess he didn't know if she was done with her or not. He's just really, I guess
it's right, fair enough.
I kind of like the idea that, it's like when people break in the musical numbers, there was the question of your surroundings. I thought that was kind of
fun. That's true.
But I hated I thought the bleep was unnecessary.
I mean, I've got to admit, out of the bleeps in this series so far, I thought this one was well timed at least.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a clever way of getting us to the next day without having to go through a plot for the next day. I'm just saying that was a neat way of doing it. It's like, oh yeah, the next day, and the chef's been there the whole time.
And I like seeing the chef a little bit pissed off too, because that's a rare thing.
Pissy chef is.
I'm sorry.
Pissy chef is pretty funny, but still, we didn't need the bleep.
You never handed me the fucking amulet.
I hate the bleep so much.
All right. So then after the title screen comes up, we have
Madalena and Gareth.
Yeah.
They're hearing the scheduling from Sid, and she, for some reason, thinks his name is Brett. Why? I have no idea.
Going through their schedule, and leeches and bleeding is at 5, and Madalena's like, oh, why do we always schedule leeches and bleeding so late?
Okay, now this is one of my favorite Gareth gags this season so far. I mean, I love pretty much anything Gareth says, because he commits to this character so well. He can say anything as long as he has that conviction with it. It works. But just this, again, over such a mundane day-to-day detail, he just delivers it so straightly. It works. He says, well, look, I know it's within the 24-hour window of cancellation, but who cares? Yeah, basically saying, well, we always run late on that. Why don't we just cancel it? And she's so impressed by this. Oh, you're so ruthless. And there's some plot here. We get this episode where she mentions, we'll hint at plot. She mentions, oh, you might be ruthless enough to help me invade the all 7 realms.
Oh, yeah, because we know the armies are definitely going to be factoring in.
Yeah, so just to verify, in case people just might be confused and thinking they're going to a Thor direction, realms also meant kingdoms. Yeah. A little fun fact, in case people aren't aware. Realms nowadays has such a different connotation. Back in the olden days, it was just different kingdoms.
Yeah.
So it might lead us
to... Are you Jack Kirby?
So, of course, that might lead us to our big conflict at the end of the season.
Right, right.
And of course might lead us to some explanation to the ending of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so again, the Seven Realms. She spots after this. What does she spot, Dickie?
Dogs jousting.
What is that in my throat? Man, just the Vinnie Jones delivery on. Again, this cracks me up. Just
It's
when
dogs jousting. It's my own personal touch around the throne room.
Because I thought I was king. I thought I'd spruce up the throne room. Just, I love the idea that he's so proud of dogs jousting. Like the smile on his face, like, oh yeah, that's dogs jousting. It's like so cracks me up, and it's just like the little subtle things. Like, wait, I thought I'd bring it up a little bit. And reminds me of like Otisburg from Superman. You remember Otisburg, that gag?
No, not really.
You kids today. Okay, anyway.
I'm sorry.
In Superman 78, Lex Luthor had an assistant, Otis, and Luthor was marking off the globe on the floor, a little collapsible presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, Luthorburg or whatever. It's all these Luthor affiliated places. Miss Tessmacher, the other assistant, she got to name a place. And Otis, the kind of the dim-witted assistant, played by Ned Beatty.
Mm-hmm.
He put in Otisburg, and Luthor apparently wasn't privy to the planning process. They just looks at it as he's presenting it to Superman, and he says, Otisburg, he turns to him. He's like,
okay, I know what you're talking about.
Miss Tessmacher's got a place. I just figured Otisburg, I'll erase it. It reminds me of that, so I think it's pretty funny. It's like the little touches. The henchman's just trying. I'm entitled to this. Thought I'd spruce it up a bit.
So Madalena, she's trying to keep her cool about this, but she walks by Sid and she's like, "Throw it in the moat, Brett."
Oh boy.
So we get like a pre-Renaissance fair, I guess.
Yeah, the pre-Renaissance pleasure fest.
Right. Here's the shot with the guy breathing fire that I stupidly thought was Gareth.
Yeah, you really. Yeah, I know that was the shot you were talking about. It's like, how the heck do you misconstrue that?
Because he's bald, okay? The guy is bald. Give me a break. Vinnie Jones is a big bald man.
Oh, sure. You know who else it could have been? It could have been Larry David. It could have been Telly Savalas. It could have been Lex Luthor.
No, I said a big bald man. Larry David is not a big man.
Well, it could have been Telly Savalas. He was a big bald man.
Fair enough.
Could have been Jason Statham.
Oh, God.
Threw in Bruce Willis.
All right.
He's a mean bald man. That's the difference. Okay, anyway, so aside from the bald men discussion, let's get back to our episode. So
yeah, I'm sure that's what people want to hear.
Anyway, so they're there to, Galavant says, okay, we're going to find a cobbler, fix your boot, then we're out of here.
And Gal's a little cranky because he dreamt of a very upsetting musical number.
Which I thought was hilarious. It's like, that a troubling musical number. I couldn't sleep. Then we get the unicorn gag. So Richard.
I'm sorry. Really quick. I feel like this series is actually kind of like bringing to hope me and Monkey's little fantasy we had of like a musical where people are all aware of how absurd being in a musical is.
Well, yeah. Remember they've been doing that since the last episode. Remember they said like we still know why we're breaking the musical numbers.
Right. So I've got to talk to Monkey about watching this show. I think he'd enjoy it for that.
Oh, I'm sure Monkey would love that show.
Oh, I'm sure he would if he's not already watching.
Does he like Avenue Q?
Oh yeah, he loves Avenue Q.
Oh, he'd love this then.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, so let's see. So Richard, he happens upon a unicorn, oddly enough, and he's going by this unicorn here, and it's like the childlike, the man.
I'm not crazy about this gag. This was the one gag of the episode I didn't really sell for me. I
didn't mind this. I thought it was okay. I kind of liked how it came back a little bit. I
just thought it was a little mean-spirited, is all.
I don't think it. In the introduction's a little mean-spirited. I think the way it comes back though is pretty innocent.
Okay.
One is so he's like the child, because Richard's very childlike, and he's like, "Oh, a unicorn, hooray!" He's, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Animal Man."
Yeah, I love how he calls the guy Mr. Animal Man.
Or something along those lines, like Mr. Animal Trainer guy, or whatever. He calls him over.
No, I think it's specifically Mr. Animal Man. I think you're right on.
He brings him over and he asks him, like, "How do you know it's a real unicorn?" Well, see, unicorns are drawn to children and pure of body. Well, what do you mean by pure of body? People have never been with a woman. And he says, "Oh, that's obviously not really a unicorn." As he moves around, the unicorn is tracking him. The guy gives him a look of, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that
Now, to be
was.
fair, he didn't do that to his face. He did it after he left.
Yeah, I know. I just think the whole thing is a little mean spirited, like just in general.
I think every
I don't
callback
know.
to I think every callback to it works. Because again, he's just.
I guess so.
If you want to make the argument, it's also that he's very childlike. That's the. If you want to make it work for yourself, it's like okay, he's very kid-like. That's why.
That would be fair. That would be fair. Oh, dear.
Yeah. All right.
Just moving shit over so that I can move the screen over a little. I apologize.
Yeah. But you know, it's either because he's childlike, but probably because of the pure body thing. For one, I like how it comes back a lot more than just the introduction. But yeah, I think it's kind of a clever gag of oh yeah, the unicorn just follows him around.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's see. So then Galavant informs him the boot's going to take all day, ridiculously. He's like so fed up about it. And then one of my favorite lines from Richard here just cracked me up. It's like almost the equivalent of the Gare Bear line from last season.
Oh God, it totally is. It totally is.
Oh, what's the matter, Big G?
What's the matter, Big G?
Just calling him Big G cracks me up. You know, today you're going about business as always. Like, well, I have to save this, but you're much more. Yeah. He just gives a sound effect. And you know, Galavant's pointing. It's been months and only had one romantic moment, and it wasn't that good. Oh, the kiss. Oh yeah, that horrible kiss. Oh, well, how do you know about that? Oh, Gareth told me to me when he brought you to the boat. It was hilarious. We laughed for hours.
Oh yes, we were all cracking up on the beach.
yeah. So I love that idea because it makes sense. Come here, Gareth. I hope it was a memorable one. Basically, I hope that was a good kiss, but I guess he knew it wasn't a good kiss.
Just want to point out it has been months since last season and not weeks.
Okay.
So I just want because it's in the dialogue because it was a little unclear how long it was.
Yeah, I assumed it was like a month, but you know it makes sense more than 1 month. Well, again, we didn't know. Okay, so anyways, then the Richard suggests, oh come on, I know it'll cheer you up. Why don't we see a fortune teller?
Mm-hmm.
As they're doing it, then we get here's one time. This cracks me up. Then the unicorn stops by because it's been established, and now you know what the context of the gag is. But you kind of know, like Galvin's reaction to it is seeing Richard react to it particularly. So the unicorn happens upon him, and he says, "I do not know why he's doing that." I just think it's like innocent, like kind of Richard trying to save some face. Like I don't know what the unicorn's deal is.
Again, it's not that great for me. It's still a little mean spirited to me.
I'm not saying it's the best of gays. It's the idea unicorn keeps following him around like kind of like a pet or something. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's what I'm liking about it. Okay, anyway. Meanwhile, Isabel and the Jester, take us away.
Oh dear. Okay, so first of all, I think this scene is kind of set up like a horror movie because she's sneaking around, and you've got Harry's voice, and he's like, "You can't hide from me. I'm going to find you." I'm like, "Oh God, that's horrifying." And then the Jester kind of pulls her to the side, and he find out he's playing hide and seek with Harry, which makes sense. It was established in episode 1. The Jester has kind of become Harry's babysitter. So the Jester offers to take her out a side entrance, but we must be cautious because we cannot be caught. I hate being it.
Anyway, so then we get meet the fortune teller, Edwin the Magnificent, who's pretty funny. He's played by our guest star here, Simon Callow. He's a he's an accomplished actor. Unfortunately, I'm not really too familiar with his work. I mean, I know him from Ace Ventura 2, Pet Detective. Not Pet Ventura 2, When Nature Calls. He played the bad guy in that. He played the lordship guy. Yeah, the point is he's a good actor. And even like Mark Hamill's, big thing he was in. Mark Hamill mentioned on Fat Man on Batman. He was in Amadeus.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's like one of his big things. He's a good theater actor too. It's Simon Cowell's.
I'm looking at his resume. He did the grasshopper from James and the Giant Peach.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
See, I think we've all kind of heard Simon Cowell in something one or another time.
Right.
He's he accomplished that. I think he's a good grab because I really liked him in this cameo.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the best cameos. I thought it was very solid. It's nice to see Simon Cowell and stuff.
It was kind of like Ricky Gervais light.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, so it's like, as an accomplished actor in a role, you kind of know, you recognize him. I've seen this guy before, but I don't know
Yeah,
where.
right, exactly.
Anyway, so they're introducing themselves. Oh yes, Edwin the Magnificent. Actually, seemingly he's really good because he knows who they are and why they're there. It doesn't seem to be like the whole and you are Galavant. Galavant. It's not like that. It's like he knows it
Right.
already. So he is somewhat of. It's like he's kind of half and half an actual psychic. Because he does know a lot. He has a lot of stuff at his disposal, but I don't think he really knows it though. I think he's just using like the parlor tricks, but he actually is capable of magic on the side. The way it plays out.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we get a gag here about like them holding off the name of Richard's kingdom?
No. What it is, Tiki, is well, here's the thing. They say it's Richard, King of the North.
Oh, King of the North. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the thing. So I mean, it's still vague on the name. I mean, King of the North is not the kingdom's name though.
Right. So yeah, that's weird that they're still kind of like, and given the cliffhanger, this kingdom is becoming very mysterious, but we'll get to that with speculation.
Yeah. So I guess the name must be important, otherwise why obscure it? Otherwise just, King of the North.
Right, yeah.
It's always get Richard back to his lands, never get Richard back to this land.
Exactly.
Anyway, so like they're mentioning, my friend here, he has some romantic troubles. He wants to know because he has a long distance relationship. You like to tell him all that. Oh yes, long distance relationships rarely work out. They can work out. No, not really.
No, rarely.
Just to give him the harsh truth, that fortune teller. Here's why I really like this fortune teller, and I think Suncow plays this moment perfectly. Basically, he's before this moment happens, there's this really hilarious gag where he's telling their fortune, and he uses, this cracked me up the first time I saw it. He uses an actual, again, if you're going to use parlor tricks way back in the old days, this is the way you do it, is how you get the name. He's using a little fortune telling device, a little folding device, like a little
right.
Pick a number 7, which was used in the marketing for like the
that was used in the marketing really well. How many new episodes is Galavant going to have? 7. No, actually it's
5.
10.
No, 5 weeks. It's like how many weeks?
Oh, weeks. Okay, I apologize. 7.
No, actually 5.
It would be cool if it was 7. Maybe season 3.
Yeah. We'll see. Anyway, so again, using the fortune teller, it's like number 7, color blue. It's pretty funny, but it's interrupted by
BLUE.
Then we get this hilarious. We hear a noise, and he answers this little crystal ball, a scepter thing in the back, and apparently, it's his wife calling. This is kind of the medieval cell phone, so to speak, the magical cell phone of its day. So he gets a call from his wife. Again, I love the mundanity associated with this guy. He gets a call from his wife about picking up the kids from school, which again, a man of his age. I mean, they're getting those kids. They're going to school. Apparently, he's a lot younger than he seems.
Right.
This thing is, I know you work too. I know that. I love the look Galvin and Richard give each other. Like, is this really right? It's pretty funny. I'm sorry. I have this thing that allows me to communicate with people from any realm, anywhere. And then they kind of have that realization of solution to our problems. Hooray!
Right.
Okay. Meanwhile.
Okay, so like I said, we have the very Python-esque changing of the guard, which is just ridiculous and silly. We're changing of the guard! Changing of the guard!
Yeah, but as the changing of the Hortensia guard goes on, Isabel's about to leave, and Chef and Gwen get a call on the amulet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so as they get a call on the amulet, says, "Well, what do we do?" And they answer and says, "Isabel's phone, Isabel's amulet. Can I ask who's speaking?" Anyway, so I'm just trying to think of what.
Well, Galavant thinks that Chef is Izzy for a second. He's like, "Oh God, what's happened to your face?"
I thought there was something. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking of something here. I thought it was like someone they answered the amulet there.
No.
I'm sorry. It's anyway, so it's Galavant and they have connection problems. So realistic. So it's the Skype of the medieval era.
Oh, it's frustrating. It's frustrating just watching it. I feel the pain.
Yeah, I mean, at first it's like, okay, it's kind of a fun game. I hated the way they used it later on, though. I hated the way they used it. But here it was fine. Just like having connection problems, like they're freezing, like they're not hearing the words there. So, you just have to, it does that sometimes. You have to hold it higher.
Mm.
Anyway, so they're, just, I love Richard's interjecting. Oh, he's worried about the kiss, or like, he's worried about the kiss. And there's, oh, yeah, you should definitely be worried.
And then Richard grabs it and he's like, "Hello, little man who used to bring me my food."
That cracks me up. Again, I love he has some reverence for the chef still. He and the chef are still buddies.
That might be one of the best lines of the episode.
Still just can't get grasp the concept to call him chef, but he's his buddy.
Okay, now here's where we might have a potential plot hole. Because he asks the chef about Gareth, and then the chef reveals that Gareth betrayed him and took the throne and everything. But really, didn't they leave before that all went down?
Well, look, I'll give them points for, again, they're still working what we predicted in that in our speculation that they still have to grapple the idea Galavant and Richard don't know what's going on. They still assume they're all in Valencia right now. So they have some continuity on that. So I'm assuming that through the grapevine they heard the Gareth thing. Because, I mean, if the guy becomes a king, that's kind of big news.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. That's kind of what I wrote it off on. Is just
and they're in like a neighboring kingdom, so they're not that far away. So I think it makes sense they heard that he became the new king.
Right. Okay.
You know, I'm assuming that.
Right, it didn't bother me too much,
like,
just
because they've attended to all the other stuff with that. I'm going to give them a pass on that one.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah. So unfortunately, Chef breaks it to King Richard. Such a heartbreaking scene for Richard. We feel.
Oh, it is. It is. And you're right. This is the one scene where the unicorn, I think, kind of works.
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying the callbacks to the unicorn, I think, work a lot better than the introduction. He says, I'm afraid to tell you, sir. Gareth took your throne, and he's taken it with Madalena, the ultimate act of betrayal.
I like how the chef just has to like rub it in, like, oh, it was the ultimate act of betrayal, sir.
Oh, again, I like he's not taking enjoyment from it, though. He's just like telling him.
No, he's not. He's not. But I'm just saying, it's like he's really adding emphasis to the betrayal.
Yeah, he's not cushioning it.
No.
So then what happens?
Okay, let's see.
Makes you look like.
Oh God, makes you look like an ass.
Little connection problem there.
An astronomical leader by comparison. That was great.
Then also it's mentioned the whole cousin by marriage thing. Isabel still has to get married to her cousin, which obviously is really disgusting. And it was put me on Isabella now. Anyway, so Richard's genuinely hurt by the Gareth news, and he's just wondering. This is like, again, I think it's going to factor into our plot definitely. Richard's wondering, did he ever even care?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then the unicorn stops by. He's like ticked off. Everything's just bothering him right now. He's going for a walk.
That all of it was funny. That was a funny use of the unicorn.
That's what I'm saying. He keeps coming back at the inopportune times.
Yeah.
But you feel bad for him because Gareth's his buddy, and of course we know what we do know is Gareth genuinely wanted to save the king's life. We know that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the whole goodbye, my friend. We know that. But, there's a question of if this is going to go to his head or not. Because right now it's just him in a new position right now. He's not really overcome by power yet, but he might get to that place where it's going to look like an actual betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Richard, as far as he knows, his buddy he might have been using him the whole time. Like, my friend since I was a kid has just betrayed me.
Right.
So you feel bad for him. Meanwhile, speaking of Gareth.
Oh, God.
Gareth, this is the funniest. Okay, two hilarious things here. One, so Sid and Gareth bring stuff, I guess, from Gareth's place or something. Or stuff they bought to hang it in the throne room.
There's a portrait of Gareth's mom.
Okay, now first of all, let me tell you why this visually is one of the most hysterical things I've ever seen. It's Vinnie Jones's head put on an elderly woman's body. It's just
right.
It's not even like with a smile or anything. It's like the scowl is still there. The head is put on this woman's body. And I think she's bald too. I'm pretty sure she's bald.
Oh God.
It's such a hilarious image. And then he's so proud of hanging. I'm sure this picture of my mother will look great in the throne room. And like Sid's like, oh yeah, certainly.
And then he sees dogs jousting in the moat.
But again, here's two things. I'm sorry. I mean, one again, I love how Sid's like, I think Sid genuinely agrees with him. Oh yeah, look good in the throne room.
I think so. Yeah,
He's like so buddy with him. I love that. And here's the thing that cracked me up the most in this episode. It's probably the funniest gag. Is again, Vinnie Jones' delivery is 100% on the money here. It just worked on every level. Just the way, again, it's such an absurd. He has like Adam West delivery. I don't know what to say about it. It just works so well. He has that much commitment to it. Vinnie Jones, this big tough guy, just says, like any sitcom star almost, like a Jerry Seinfeld type, just says, "What's my pain doing in the toilet?" Which raises an important question. It raises some interesting questions to speculate on. Is the moat is the moat actually the toilet, or is it?
I don't even want to think about that.
Like, what do you think? You think he's just like he uses it for that? Do you think it's an actual?
I think I don't want to think about it. I'd rather not know.
Well, we're gonna have to think about it for the gag coming up.
Oh god.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to know. Otherwise, I'd leave it alone. But so the absurdity of him, first of all, being so offended. What's that painting doing? You know, what's dogs jousting doing in the toilet? No, but there's just like the commitment to which he says that, and the fact that he refers to the moat as a toilet just cracks me up.
This show should just merchandise dogs jousting. I would buy a dogs jousting.
But again, just the props on Vinnie Jones for like just the perfect delivery of the most absurd line you've ever heard. What's my doing in the toilet? Referring to a moat. That's just hysterical. Anyway, so then in retaliation, he throws Madalena's rug in the moat.
That's a special rug. I killed a family of weavers who made it.
And then
Madalena getting better this season, I think.
Yeah, Madalena's fun so far. Anyway, they have a back and forth of tossing items, various items out into the moat, and you know, it's like their kids or like their spouses. You know, it's pretty hilarious. You know, it's like throwing things, chucking things out the window, like so immature but so funny. And then this one cracks me up again. Then they're having a tug of war, and again, Vinnie Jones is selling every line. He's like, "Hey, not my assistant." Just treating Sid like an object. Again, he cares about Sid, but more so as a possession. You know, he's mine.
Right.
And they're like children, like fighting over toys. You know, and Sid's like trying to mediate here and trying. Don't kill me.
You know, you are two people with very strong opinions. You need to find some common ground.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting here with Sid is I really do feel like Sid is becoming the Gareth to Gareth's Richard in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's the one that's coming in with like the logical advice like Gareth was doing in the first season.
He is, and that's why I think he works perfectly with Gareth.
Totally.
Anyway, so then they get into the song Agree to Disagree, where they're basically Madeleine and Gareth are kind of airing out their various views and opinions and seeing how really mismatched they are. But, you know, a few glimmers of similarity, not much, but they're little glimmers. For example, in terms of differences, you know, it's very catchy tune, first of all. I want to mention it's very catchy.
Yeah.
And, you know, Gareth's saying, she's mentioning fancy foods, he's saying meat with extra meat. And also beer, lots and lots of beer.
Oh, the beer gag cracked me up. That
Sid's going rhyme scheme.
I love drinking vino, and I prefer a keg of beer. Oh, I get ready when the weather's handy, and I prefer a keg of beer. I love massages, long walks, and sunsets. Beer. Really.
And then eventually they bond over their annoyance with Sid, and they chuck him into the moat. Which again, with that toilet line, makes you think he's being chucked into raw sewage.
Oh, that's great.
We don't know. Might just him be confused on it, or it's actually a main that leads to.
I'm sure Sid's been through worse.
I don't know if he's been through that worse. It sounds really awful.
I don't know. Okay,
anyway, the point is pretty fun. I did feel bad for Sid, though. Like, poor Sid getting thrown out. Though he's trying to be the mediator there, but then I love the payoff of it, though. Just Madalena and Gareth finally getting along, saying, "Well, that was fun. You want there more people out there? Sure."
Hells yeah.
It was really funny.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Galavant.
So now we have the plot contrivance.
Oh boy, I hated this. This is the reason this episode is
I'll defend it a little bit. I'll defend it just a little bit.
So Gareth and sorry, not Gareth. I'm thinking of the good section of this episode. Galavant and his Isabella are on the amulet having a little chat there, but the signal's acting very dodgy and leading to a lot of miscommunications. Basically, everything he's saying is kind of being like interrupted, so it sounds like he's insulting her.
Yeah, he's trying to say like, "Don't marry Harry. It's gross," and then it's coming out like,
"You're
gross. Marry Harry. You're gross. I'm not coming for you."
Yeah, which is just like basically telling her to give up on him and it's like move on. I don't like you. And Galavant, first of all, I love he's receiving her stuff in a positive way. Even so, she's saying the kiss.
Okay, I thought that was clever. That's
the only thing I got for this is him interpreting it as okay, everything's fine. Like the kiss, I know the kiss wasn't that good. The kiss was great.
Our kiss, so amazing.
Okay. Like the kiss was not so amazing. You just hear it. It's amazing. I knew we had nothing to worry about. So then I'll admit, I like the absurdity of the next gag, but I didn't like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The cow comes in, and then I feel like at the point where the cow comes in, it kind of becomes like, yeah, we know this is a little bit of a plot contrivance, but let's have some fun with it. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, the reasoning for the contrivance, yeah, but still, it's just the contrivance itself. It's just.
I know the contrivance itself is not good. Like, I know it's lazy writing, but what I'm trying to say is I want to say that the writers, it's kind of like the whole thing with...
it's like the liar reveal from the first season.
Well, yeah, but what I was going to say is it kind of reminds me of how they were doing the joke with the amulet, where it's like, okay, we know no one's going to buy this. We know this is a cheap thing to do, so let's just call out how absurd it is with the cow.
Which, by the way, oh yeah, I remember it was the thing I was thinking of. It was Galavant making up the rationale. Oh yeah, I've seen her. This is forget about it. Yeah, she's always had it on. Basically justifying it to the chef, saying, "Oh, well, how'd you know she had an amulet? Of course, she always wears that amulet." that was what I was trying to think of earlier. That's what I was trying to think of.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so
so a brown cow walks in.
Yeah, there's this cow that comes in, and they're trying to get the cow out of... I don't know. That cracked me up the second time I saw it. I thought it was very Python-esque.
Yeah, again, the cow was funny. Just the misunderstanding stuff. That's what bugged me.
I don't know, but still, it's funny how it's like they're just trying to get the cow out of there, and then the message comes back, and it's so cruel.
I mean, I'll tell you what it is. It's like her hearing the insulting things. That's funny. I get that, but
go die. Brown cow, you're disgusting. Disgusting. Move on, you cow.
I mean, look, just hear it. That stuff, it's funny, but I hate the fact she takes it seriously. That's what bugs me.
No, I know, and I hope that we don't have like this whole season-long arc of her moping on about it. That's
what I'm worried about.
Character, but I don't know. We'll see.
Anyway, so then after that, she drops the amulet, it shatters, so they can't communicate. And again, if they stretch it out, it's going to be bad. If they fix it in one episode, I'll give it a pass. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. I have faith that this is going to be not as stretched out as we're thinking it's going to be. I have some hope there.
Otherwise, it's going to be a big misstep because at least the other one they play the lie reveal really well because Galavant was learning along the way. They didn't waste it.
One positive thing I will point out is that the moment she drops the amulet, we get a little bit of a sad reprise on piano of the Galavant theme.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It's kind of like we were speculating, like Mencken is working in that theme in very subtle ways while a new season is kind of like the main theme.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good. It's very creative use of the music. Anyways.
All right, let's see. So then we have this. This is a good scene. So Richard's bummed out again. Timothy Munson. He's playing
one of Richard's best pieces of acting I've seen from him.
I think he plays Richard very well this episode, as he does always. But I'm saying this one he got to play some emotional sadness on, which I don't get a lot of him just being purely bummed out.
Mm-hmm.
Richard's really bummed out. He's he's had it with the unicorns just coming up to him in sympathy, which he's like not really mad. The unicorn's just mad at I don't need a reminder of how pathetic my life is right now. And then he just says, I am not king, and he pulls a sword out threatening to make it a nunicorn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, and again, you can see on his face he regrets it because he liked the unicorn. He's like, oh, I'm just mad. You feel bad for Richard. It's like, oh, he's just ticked off right now. Yeah, because he feels betrayed. He's just angry at the unicorn and betrayal. So then this is really sweet bit where Galavant comes by. I mean, he gives him a pat on the back. He says, look, I understand. He offers him some sympathy. This scene was really great between these two guys. I love this. I'm loving these buddy movie moments between these.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Galvin offering sympathy. He knows about being betrayed. Really, when? Really? Okay, off the top of my head, 2 examples. Madalena picked you over me. And of course, when you had Isabella betray me, explicitly, he says, "Oh right." And you know, then just Richard kind of bearing his soul, saying, "Well, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do without Gareth by my side."
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, they're on their way, and they get the fixed shoe and everything. And then Galvin questions, "Where'd you get the sword?" "Oh, I pulled it out of the stump. You know, I thought I'd keep it." "Okay, what are you going to call it?" "I don't know. Do you remember like any of the various names he had for it?"
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's like Dagger, like so he had some cool names lined up, but also some funny
The Night
names.
Dagger or something like that. I want to say Night was in the title of one of them.
Like I don't know, something like. The point is, the reveal was that the stump was emblazoned with something on the other side. They said the hero's sword, that can only be pulled by the one true king, which we know.
I thought that was a really cool reveal. That was a nice reveal.
Which was nice. So again, points for Richard. Richard's coming around. That's his arc. We know eventually that's where he's going to end up. He's going to be kind of like pulling like a Darth Vader, like an Anakin Skywalker, bringing balance to the Force, so to speak. Like essentially, that's his arc, and we know that from the intro song.
Okay, so then we have Isabella doing a little bit of a sad Perfect Kiss reprise.
Yep, and you know, she's singing about her disappointment and you know all the time she's wasted with Galavant, and he's like figuring, oh no, it wasn't the, you know, it was the best of.
So this right here was probably the weakest point of the episode, I'd say.
I don't know. It was okay. Again, that's what I'm saying. It was.
Well, I'm just saying the actual misunderstanding at least had some comedy to it. This is like the byproduct of the misunderstanding, and it's just kind of her moping around, which is what we don't want to see.
I mean, it's this and the end result of the misunderstanding that ticked me off. But I mean, it wasn't sung poorly or anything. It was like
no. Like I said, I just don't want to see this character be moping around through like the whole season.
And again, if they solve it in one episode, I think we can forgive it. Sure. But if they're gonna drag it out, like, oh god.
Sure.
It'll be the first black mark on the permanent record of the show for season 2.
Okay.
Anyway, to quote Hey Arnold.
Oh god.
You remember the big permanent marker block?
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so
that actually used to traumatize me as a kid. I would like not want to get bad grades or anything because it'd get on my permanent record. Ooh.
Seriously, Warts was way out of line threatening Arnold with that.
Oh my god, yeah, he was.
Let's not get into that. So,
I'm sure there will be plenty of Hey Arnold to talk about in the future. It's a good time. It's a good time, my friend.
Okay, anyway, so Gareth and Richard, this is I think it's a great way to end the episode. So Gareth and Richard, they're walking back, and it seems like they finally reached Richard's kingdom, so we can go back.
Wait, you mean Galavant and Richard, not Gareth and Richard.
Darn it!
It's all good. It's all good.
Tell you what it is, I have bad notes. I wrote, keep abbreviating the wrong G.
Yeah, because I have Galavant written down as Gal in my notes.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so Galavant and Richard he's finally gotten Richard back to the kingdom, which means he can go save Isabella. So he's they're about to reach the kingdom, and he's like kind of some last interchange here. They're thinking, you know, what are you gonna do when you get back? Well, it's been a rough year. Lost my wife, my best friend, and my brother tried to kill me. I'm just gonna curl up in a room, eat 1,000 pounds of cake, and just be adored by my people. And, you know, he says, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to save Isabel. All right, I knew that. But this is really sweet, man. This warmed my heart. I love this part where he says, well, you know what? If you need anything, my resources are your resources. You know, I can give you armies, boats, you name it. Yeah, but he's interrupted as he's walking here. As he realizes, you know, this is going to sound – I am so sorry, but I know my castle was here, and now it's not. Basically realizing the castle is missing, as we see an overhead shot. It literally looks like the castle has been plucked off the ground and moved.
Right.
It's like just the outline of the stone indentations of the castle are gone. It's pretty
So
hilarious.
I thought that was a great cliffhanger, and it also kind of, I feel like I was half right in my prediction that they don't make it to the kingdom.
Yeah.
That making it to the kingdom is going to be like an ordeal of some kind.
Yeah, and then of course, and it might also give some credence to the whole Valencia being his new kingdom idea.
Yeah, and I want to see Magic Mountain, but let's not even get into that.
Anyway, but then of course it's punctuated by Richard's perfect line here at the end, just saying, "Well, that's not good."
Richard like sounds optimistic even when things are going to crap. Okay. So that was The World's Best Kiss, which I need to change the title of. Did you get a chance to watch the promotion for next week?
Well, it didn't air on TV, so I didn't see it.
Okay. I looked it up on YouTube. The big thing, it was very quick. I couldn't catch a lot. Okay, so a couple shots. I saw the shot where Galavant catches the dagger to save Richard. Yeah. And then there's this cool shot of Vinnie Jones sitting up in bed as if he's just woken up from a nightmare. But the most significant thing was that they're advertising that there's going to be a love song for King Richard.
All right, finally.
King Richard's going to have some love interest. So
finally.
That's exciting.
He's going to walk through the flower garden. Very nice.
Yeah.
Good. I'm just saying, good for Richard. Again, they're making a unicorn gag payoff.
Yeah, very true.
Okay.
Okay, so episode 3 is going to be All Hail the King.
No, so hence the romance. Okay, it's a King Richard-centric episode. And, of course, maybe some Gareth feeling some guilt or something about King Richard. He's thinking about King Richard, probably.
Then episode 4 is Bewitched, Bothered, and Belittled.
Yeah.
So, all right, any final thoughts?
Again, overall, this episode, again, aside from the misunderstanding, I thought it wasn't the most impressive as the first episode, but it was solid. Had some good laughs, as I mentioned the thing earlier. But again, I think Galavant and King Richard are on the money. So was Gareth. Gareth was 100% on the money. The things we know this show for being good at. Very solid. Again, it was a plot. It was a plot builder. That's what it was.
I think the one thing that I'm very skeptical about right now is Izzy's character. I think that she's kind of getting a downgrade from season 1 if it's going the direction that we fear it's going to go.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the big thing of her character was she had a good rapport with Galavant. It was them falling in love, and they had a good back and forth. She was the one who kind of got him to be a better guy in the end of that season.
Exactly.
And separating them again, the song is really the only connection they really had, being physically in the same place at the same time. It's like she needs someone to bounce off of, and right now she isn't really, aside from the chef and Gwen, really not a lot of people to bounce off of. So she's got the jester, but again, she's in a potentially bad story. That's the thing. She's in like the cousin marriage story, which is a hard one to pull off. Which is,
I mean, the one thing I do appreciate about this story with Harry is that they're genuinely making Harry out to be creepy.
Well, first of all, I'm just gonna really hope they don't do the stupid thing where she actually ends up marrying this kid.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's the thing. That's for me. That's the big risk of this season. Them doing this whole cousin marriage story.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing, though, with this episode, it goes by really quick, and it's kind of a mark on the episode. Like it feels like it goes by so quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a 20-minute episode, so
again, it was like a plot episode that didn't have a lot of plot in it. That's what it feels like.
Right.
But again, the character stuff with Richard, Galvin, and Gareth, I thought was right on the money.
I feel like much like season 1, we're gonna get some episodes that are kind of standalone. Whereas, like, I feel like around episode 5 or 6, we're really gonna kind of settle into like one primary location, and everyone's gonna meet up for the rest of the season. So I think it's gonna go. Anyways. Okay. So you want to go ahead and do the outro?
Okay. Now that's the end of this episode.
That's as far as we can go for now.
In this new season of magic and laughs.
A new season as we recap and chat.
And go.
Galavant.
Galavant.
Galavant-Ing. Oh, I'm so bored.